Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Heini. I'm Heini, and this week we're going to do a short yin yoga practice for the side body. So opening and releasing tension along the sides of the body. Let's get started. For this practice, we do need some props. So either some cushions, some pillows, or if you have a yoga bolster, have your bolster there with you. I have 2 sofa cushions with me today. If you have a bigger cushion, you could also do very well with 1 cushion. And then maybe some smaller extra props. I'm going to use 1 yoga block. So you could have yoga blocks, you could have maybe smaller cushions or blankets that you fold, just to have a bit of support under the head if needed. And we are going to start with a side bend. We're going to come into the mermaid, the rainbow pose. So bring your cushions, your bolsters next to your left hip. So you're sitting on your left hip and bring your cushions, your bolster right next to the hip and just have your smaller prop somewhere close to the head side. So if you want to use it, you can use it. And then we're going to lean our left side on top of the cushions, on top of the bolster. And I suggest bringing that left arm in front of you so it's not squished under your body. And here you could lean your head down on the mat, but I'm going to bring now my block under the head. It just helps the neck to release a bit. We're looking to open the right side of the body here. And you could leave your right arm just somewhere maybe next to your side, or you could bring it behind the back. You also have an option to bring your right arm somewhere next to the head, so bring it higher up. And that might create more of an opening in the armpit area and the shoulder. I quite often like to bring the arm behind the head and maybe allow the elbow to bend. So making sure you feel comfortable here. There's no pain anywhere. And then we just start to focus on breathing towards that right side of the body. We're going to spend here another couple of minutes, so make sure you are comfortable. Or if you start to feel pain at any point, you are very welcome to come out of the pose. So don't force yourself to be any longer than you feel safe and good in the pose. Allow your inhalations to slide down towards the right hip. And then release the exhalations back up towards the right shoulder. So sliding the breaths down and up along the right side, that open side. We're going to spend another minute here, another 5 to 10 breaths. So if you feel that you need to adjust anything, feel free to make small changes in the pose. Or you could also decide to come out of the pose at this point. If your body is telling you to release the pose a bit earlier. Another few breaths in and out. Allowing exhalations to release tension, to soften effort that you feel you could still let go of before we start coming out of the pose. And then when you feel that you'd be ready to release the pose, if you have your right arm higher up somewhere, maybe over the head or behind the head, slowly first slide that right arm lower down and step the right hand maybe in front of the head, in front of the chest. And then slowly start to help yourself up into a seat. Support with the arms, so you could keep that right side still quite soft. And bring yourself into maybe a cross-legged seat, some kind of rather neutral seat, where you could take a moment just rebounding and letting yourself feel that right side now that you've come out of that shape, out of that pose. Send a few breaths down and up along the spine. And this might be quite interesting moment to notice differences between the left and the right side when we've only done that first side. Take a couple more breaths in and out. And then we are going to come into that mermaid, that rainbow pose on the other side. So from here, we're going to now come sitting on the right hip. So you could either just turn yourself the other way. I'm going to move the props. So that's another option, just so you can bring yourself to sit on your right hip and then bring your pillows or your bolster next to your right hip and have your smaller prop, if you want to use it, on the head end of the mat. And then we're going to lean the right side on top of the bolster or on top of the pillows. And you could bring a smaller prop under the head. And again, I suggest here now the right arm somewhere in front of you so that it's not squished under the body. And as we come to the second side, the pose might feel very different. So feel free to adjust the legs a bit if needed. Can you decide if you want to bring your right arm somewhere over the head, maybe behind the head if that feels better for the shoulder. But you could as well decide to leave that arm close to your body. So listen to your body and allow the second side to be different. We are all asymmetrical in our own ways. So often the practice needs to be asymmetrical as well. Once you feel that you have settled into your second side bend, you can start to focus on the breath. Now breathing down and up along the left side of the body. You could visualize the in-breaths sliding down towards the left hip. And then exhalation sliding back up towards the left shoulder. So moving the breath along that open side. Sometimes the breath is the best or even the only thing that we can use to open the space between the ribs. And if you feel that there is tension along the rib cage now on the left side, focus on breathing towards the ribs, so sending the breath towards the left side of your body. Inhalations creating space and exhalations softening, releasing tension wherever there might be tension in your body, along that left side especially. Still have about 1 more minute on the second side. So maybe another 5 to 10 slow, calm breaths in and out. Allow a few more exhalations. Soften tension. And tension that you feel you could still let go of. And then as we start to slowly come out from this pose, if you have your left arm over the head somewhere higher up, just slowly bring that left arm down and step the left hand on the mat somewhere in front of your body. And then slowly, slowly start to help your back up. And using the arms. And come into a seat again for a moment, into some kind of neutral seat where you could take a moment to observe the sides and where you can feel how the body is now after that second side of the side bend. Where do you feel the pose right now? And how symmetrical or maybe asymmetrical the body feels now that we've done the right and the left side. You can take a couple more breaths in and out. And then we'll slowly move towards our next pose. And we're going to come into child's pose. So you could leave your cushions, your pillows under the body. I'm going to put them aside now so that there's maybe a bit more space to do some side bending in child's pose as well. So we're going to come on our knees, on our shins, and then lean the pelvis towards the feet. So you're kind of sitting down towards the heels, towards the feet. Your legs could be wider apart. They could be closer together. And you could use blocks, smaller pillows under the pelvis if you want. So you could also have a bit of support there under the pelvis, between the legs, if you feel that leaning all the way down to the feet is maybe uncomfortable for the knees or ankles. Then support the pelvis. And then we're going to lean upper body down and forward into our child's pose. And first, take a moment to find a comfortable place for the shoulders, the arms, head. Elbows could be as bent or as straight as feels good for the shoulders. And give yourself a few breaths here, just breathing down and up along the spine. And then you have an option to either stay in the center, or you could slowly start to walk your hands towards the left side of your mat, coming into a small side bend in this child's pose. So opening the right side again, still leaning head down either on the mat, or you could also lean head onto your arms. And try sending a few breaths towards the right side. Allowing the ribs to open. Allowing shoulders to soften. You can let yourself adjust the shape if needed. If having arms overhead starts to be uncomfortable, you could bring arms down, maybe one arm down next to the side, or even both arms down. Give yourself a few more breaths on the left side of the mat. So a few more breaths, opening the right side body.
And then we'll slowly, with the next few breaths, come back to the center. If you've been in a side bend, come back to the center in child's pose. And then if you want to add side bend to the other side, slowly walk your hands towards the right side of the mat. So now the opening is created on the left side of the body. If you feel that you need any support under head, you can bring hands, arms under the head. If legs need to adjust, feel free to adjust the shape. And then start to breathe towards the left side of your body. And it could be that it's just a breath that we need to open the side body. So the pose itself could be very gentle. The pose is just suggesting the opening on the left side, and then the breath can do the rest. The breath can maybe create even more space than the pose. We could spend another few breaths on the right side of the mat if you are in a side bend. Let those few exhalations soften, release tension there might be left. And then after those few breaths, if you are in a side bend, slowly come back to center and take a few more breaths in the center again. Just a moment, feeling the left and the right side together. What does the center, the neutral, feel like now? And then slowly from child's pose, bring yourself up onto all fours, onto hands and knees. And before we do the next pose, we'll give a bit of movement for our spine. And we start to first circle the weight from hands to knees, knees to hands. And then once you have the circling going on, start to open the left and the right side of your body. So as you shift the weight to left knee, open the left side a bit more. When you go to the right side, just slightly more, push the right side out towards the side of the mat. And then we'll change the direction. So we'll do a few rounds the other way. So gentle movement, but visiting the left and the right side. And you're going to let your head, your neck move as well. Breathe here as you move. Let's do another couple of circles. And then after those couple of circles, bring yourself back to center. And then from all fours, bring yourself down to sitting on the mat. And then from that seat, bring yourself all the way down, lying on the back. And if you have cushions, bolsters there, maybe put them to the end of the mat. And we might use them in the end of the practice. But when you come lie down on the back, just take a moment there. Maybe knees bent. Just allowing a bit of time for the head, the shoulders, the back to find the mat, to come resting on the mat. And then we're going to come into a twist. So first side, again opening the right side first. Bring your both knees bent to the left side of the mat. And you can let your whole pelvis follow, leaving the chest open up towards the ceiling. We're going to find ourselves in a twist. And again, you could leave your right arm here, maybe next to the side, maybe it's down on the mat. But if you want, you have an option to open the right arm somewhere out to the side. Or you might here as well slide the arm over the head. If that feels like a nice opening, maybe in the armpit area and the shoulder. So let yourself play with where that right arm is. If you feel the right shoulder is achy, painful even, you could bring a block or some other cushioning under that right shoulder and arm. And then focus on the breaths again. Let them slide down and up along that right side. Maybe this time visualizing the breath going all the way down to that right thigh. You might turn head to one side or the other. Give yourself another 5 to 10 breaths in your twist. Of course, if you want, you might come out the pose earlier. So don't force the pose to be any longer than feels comfortable and feels safe. And then at the end of your 5 to 10 breaths, take one slightly bigger, deeper breath in and out. And then slowly start to bring the legs back up to the center. So releasing the twist, maybe bring arms lower down if you've had them higher up. Again, just take a moment here and between the two sides to rest in the center. You could have the knees bent. You might extend the legs as well if you want. Let the back stay rather soft. Few breaths in and out. Sometimes it's just time in between the poses when we really feel the pose most. So always give yourself time to rebound after the pose, in between the poses. And when you feel that you've had your moment, again to come into that twist on the other side. So now start to slowly lean your legs towards the right side of the mat. You don't have to keep your feet or knees together. They can be wider apart. And the left hand, left arm could stay close to the body here, or again, you could open it somewhere further out to the side, accepting that the second side might be very different. Again, if you need any cushioning, a bit of propping under that left shoulder or arm, you could bring a pillow, you could bring a block there. So that you feel you can really release your body into that pose. You're not holding your body. You're not tensing your body. But really allowing yourself to slowly sink in. Remembering we are here to release tension. And then there's the breath. The breath keeps sliding in, sliding out. You can check your neck as well. Check it's easy to breathe. You're not blocking your breath. So you might turn head to one side or the other, or just keep it in the center. And that as well might be different on the second side. You could let your breaths slide all the way down along that left side, and maybe even visualize the breath sliding towards that left leg. Exhalation, softening, releasing tension. We could spend another 5 to 10 breaths on the second side of the twist. But if you feel that you want to or you need to come out from the pose earlier, you are very welcome to come into your resting pose. So don't force the pose. And sometimes just a small adjustment might help you stay a bit longer. We are looking for stillness, but it doesn't mean that we have to be still, completely still. There's always some small micro movements going on. Just us breathing in and out is moving the body slightly. And then after your 5 to 10 breaths, you can slowly start to release the twist. Come back to the center. Again, if you've had your arms higher up, you could slide the arms back down. And now we are coming into our final resting pose. So if you have your bolster, your pillows at the end of the mat, you could now bring your legs on top of the pillows, on top of the bolster, and just let the legs rest on top of that support. I'll take a moment here. This will be our final rebound. So make yourself comfortable. Let yourself feel the left and the right side. Separately, but also together. In our body, everything is connected. So although we are maybe sometimes focusing more on the right side, sometimes more on the left side, we are working on both sides. They are inseparable. So take a moment here to just feel your whole body, feel that left and right side also together. Send a few breaths down and up along the spine. And if you want, you could stay in this resting pose for longer. You could stay as long as you want. Or if you now feel that it would be a good moment to start closing the practice, I suggest first hugging the knees in towards the chest, towards the belly, and just rocking a bit from side to side. Bringing gentle movement back into the body. And then from your back, lean down onto one side, either left or right side, which one feels easier now. And then from your side, bring yourself up into a seat, into your own final seat. And this could be any
pose, any easy pose of your choice. Give yourself a few more breaths to slowly close the practice. If it's part of your practice, you could bring your palms together in front of the chest. Again, bring the left and the right side to meet in the middle. And as always, at the end of the practice, thank yourself for bringing yourself, your body, your breath, your mind onto the mat, into your practice today. I thank you very much for joining in. Namaste. Thank you. Good. Thank you so much for joining in. If you like this practice, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Also, if you know anyone who might enjoy this video, please share it with them. And it really helps the videos and the whole channel. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.